Welcome to another edition of the NFC West Roundtable, ladies and gentlemen. For 49ers fans, I'm sure that it is sunken in. It doesn't hurt nearly as bad. And then for everybody else in this division, I'm sure we're all just super excited to get into some off-season content. Guys, we have a great show for you today. We are going to be discussing quite a bit about free agency. And then we're also going to be giving you an actual first-round mock draft in which that we hope that you are very interactive with in the chat. The second that you come in, make sure you do smash that like button for us. Easiest way to support the channel. And make sure you subscribe because we are putting out content on this channel as much as humanly possible to make sure that your off-season is as entertaining as humanly possible. Let's go around the table, see how everybody is doing. Starting off with Jesse. What's going on, man?
Well, Dan, easy for you to say that we're over it a whole week later, but, Brother Bob's in the chat. And he'll tell you he's now calling Kyle Shanahan Kyle Levy because he keeps getting there and not coming through in the clutch. You know how much that hurts. So, yeah, that's where we're at in the offseason, man. That's where we're at in the offseason.
As we've seen, Brother Bob is back. And so we did miss you last week, Bob. We certainly miss you. Norb was looking for you. Right now he's in Kansas City. And it's a great segue because we have a fan favorite, a regular alternate right of this channel, Steezy A. Smith. What's going on with you, man? How's life?
Man, life's been great. Life's been well. There's been a lot of hires here in the Seahawks coaching staff, in the front office. Ryan Grubb, obviously Mike McDonald, right? I'm still kind of fawning over that hire at defensive coordinator. He's a little inexperienced, but adding Dirty from Dallas, I really like him and the potential that he brings to the table. And so we're still, a couple weeks away from free agency, obviously a couple months away from the draft, but I'm just super, super excited to be able to dive deeper into getting to know these guys. And, man, the future is bright in Seattle. So happy to be on, and, thanks for having me on, y'all.
Man, love to hear it. And always looking dapper. Dapper is
Thank
even
you.
the gospel. love to hear it. Mike, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, man, finally my time to shine, the off season, man. It's been a while. I've been the guy that's just there, right? They're kind of just hovering around the channel when you get a chance to speak. It's like 1 minute. You're like, all right, next person. Kind of felt like that for a bit, but I'm excited, man. The off season's here. We got a lot to talk about. Mock draft, super stoked about that free agency. And yeah, man, I'm excited.
All right. And last but not least, Jake, what's going on, my friend?
Just enjoying this draft process, off season, all of it. And I'm happy for Mike because we're going to hear a lot more of Mike now, and it's going to make the show better. So I'm looking forward to that.
Appreciate it.
Oh, man. And you know what, Mike? I'll tell you what, because we started this show off, okay? And you know what, Mike? Listen, dude, I'm putting you at the top, okay? I'm putting you at the top because you want to know why, my friend? We started this show right in the playoffs. We started this show after the Cardinals were already mathematically eliminated, all right? So haven't really gotten the justice that you deserve. So I want to start.
We started week 5, by the way.
What's that, Jesse?
Jeez. I said you said mathematically eliminated. I said we started week 5, by the way.
Hey, well, you know what? Super exciting. We're jumping into our first topic after we hear from Brother Bob coming in. So happy no Norb. Wait, I have to dislike Steezy now. Steezy, I will tell you what,
that's impossible.
This guy is the ultimate Seahawks hater. He is the ultimate city of Seattle hater. He hates Apple.
Oh, wow. Even the city?
Like
the city, yep.
Dude, I've never seen anybody hate a city more than Brother Bob. All right? And I'm sure he'll get into it a little later. But
I'm ready for it.
Thank you for the support, Bob. Appreciate that. All right, guys, first topic, and I do want to start off with Mike. There is some of the pending free agency going on right now. Several players in which were on your roster are either unrestricted. Some may even be restricted. A few. One in particular is Budda Baker. I know that he's a restricted free agent at this point. But if there's anybody that is about to hit free agency for the Arizona Cardinals, who is one player you want to see come back? Mike, start off with you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for starting off with me. Honestly, I think the answer people might want me to say is Hollywood. But I think I'm done with the Hollywood experiment. I truly am. Somebody that I would love the Cardinals to bring back is a guy that people might not know very much. I'm going to go with Greg Dortch. I love Greg Dortch as a wide receiver, and this guy has been very, very underrated for the past couple of years. We've been a multiple, or I guess back-to-back 4-win team. It's been very, very bad here in terms of being a Cardinal fan, but he's always been that kind of bright spot on the offense for the Arizona Cardinals, whether it's Kyler Murray throwing the ball to him or even like Josh Dobbs or anybody who else we had. So I want to say Greg Dortch. I think he's definitely a fan favorite. He's a guy that plays very, very hard. And I think he deserves more reps than Rondo Moore does. Rondo Moore gets a lot more reps, and I do truly believe because he's a second-round pick, but like, we've seen a lot of him, and I don't know. I'm not saying cut him. I'm not saying trade him. But if I want the Arizona Cardinals to go after somebody specifically, I'm going to say Greg Dortch, bring him back. I think he's definitely earned it, and I really do hope he can become that hot receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I'm not talking about like a 5-year deal. No, this guy is a journeyman, so he's probably going to be like a 1 or 2 year deal. So I would say bring him back just for the chemistry that him and Kyler have. The little chemistry that they have. So I think Greg Dortch.
Now, what's going to happen with Budda Baker, right? Because I feel like his name's been thrown around a lot for a potential trade.
Yeah.
Restricted free agent. What's the status on Budda right now?
So right now, Budda is under contract for 1 more year, so 2024. And it's a big topic for the Cardinals because obviously a big fan favorite for the Arizona Cardinals is Budda Baker and reminds us a lot of Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, when he was with us. But what's going on right now is that he's under contract for 1 more year, but he doesn't have any guaranteed salary. And we've seen this before with Budda Baker, where I don't think he will play under that contract. Now, we'll see, right? I don't know him personally, but like with what we've seen in the past, he's fought tooth and nail to get himself some sort of extension or some sort of pay raise. The Arizona Cardinals, when we did give him more money, it wasn't I guess it was an extension, but not really. It was more of a pay raise, but we still kept him at the minimum years that we actually had. So we still have him under contract, but is he going to be playing with non-guaranteed salary? That's the biggest question out there. Would I love the Arizona Cardinals to go after him and actually extend him? Yeah, of course. I think he's the heart and soul of the defense. Still has it. But we're hearing JG and Monty Ossenfort, our general managers, say all the right things. They love Budda Baker. Anytime they talk, they're talking about how Budda Baker is the example of what they want their defense to be. But, talk is cheap. Do it, right? Extend him at the end of the day. But we still haven't seen that yet. But he's still under contract right now with the Cardinals, but it's non-guaranteed. So kind of concerning.
I absolutely love it. We have Brother Bob coming back in once again. Jake, be honest, you're sad the Niners lost too.
He missed the last episode clearly because I went in on the Niners.
He missed the last episode. He was probably still upset. Dan, and so I needed a peacemaker for the Super Bowl like you have. Oh, man. He's coming at the host now, ladies and gentlemen. He's coming at the host.
He's saying that your mic looks like a pacemaker.
Oh, it does. It does. It's funny. Funny enough, I did order a shirt. It's coming in the mail, boys. All right, it's coming.
Oh, let's go.
It's coming in the mail. I'm upgrading. It's
What's even funnier is I'm using a shirt, and I actually reached out to you because I want to get one of those for on the go, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, especially say that you guys like to pace around while you do your content.
Pacemaker.
This is where it's at. It's the pacemaker. It's the pacemaker, baby. Whose house? Hunter Reynolds, guys. Thank you so much for the super chats. It's really
Dan. By the way, you're not slick because I know that you want a safety over there in Buffalo, so you're just sniffing around to see what's going on with Budda Baker.
Dude, listen, man. I wouldn't say no to Budda Baker whatsoever. Steezy. All right, man. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. All right. Out of all of your pending free agents, who would you like to see come back, and who do you realistically see coming back for Seattle? I know obviously you have Mike McDonald at the helm. Maybe there's like a new sort of a like different like look at the overall structure of what the Seahawks are going to look like. What are you targeting, or who are you targeting to come back?
So there's a lot of high profile free agents here in Seattle. There's Bobby Wagner, right? There's Jordan Brooks. There's Leonard Williams, who the Seahawks traded a second-round pick for, and he's already a free agent. And so you have all those guys, but then there's no cap space. Seattle sits at 23rd in the NFL at negative $1.5 million. And there's still a lot of moves to be made surrounding the status of a Jamal Adams, who potentially could be designated as a post-June 1st cut. Quandre Diggs, Geno Smith, he has a $9.6 million roster bonus due 5 days after the start of the new league year. And so there's a lot of moves that are going to take place before the NFL draft takes place. Maybe in free agency before that period kicks off, we might see some of these vets go. All that being said, though, I want to go Leonard Williams. I'm just not sure how realistic that is. And so I'm going to go with another guy who I believe is more realistic just because right now at linebacker, it's almost there's nothing there. I mean, again, Bobby Wagner is a free agent. Jordan Brooks is a free agent. Devin Bush is a free agent. And so I got to go with Jordan Brooks. I know he's not the same guy in coverage as a Patrick Queen or a Roquan Smith in Baltimore, but I just think that you can't have I wouldn't want Seattle to have two rookies coming out of the draft and starting at linebacker. I mean, I don't think it's realistic for a Patrick Queen, to come over. He's going to command 17, 18 plus $1 million per year in free agency. And so there's a lot of Seahawks fans out here clamoring for him or just Madubuike. But just like I outlined, I mean, cap space here is almost non-existent, right? And obviously there's a lot of ways for teams to manufacture cap space, but I just think the most realistic and the guy that Seattle has to bring back, he's adept at stopping the run. He has some work to do in coverage, but I do think that with Mike McDonald at the helm, he could definitely work on that and get better in that regard. And so I think Jordan Brooks right now is a guy that I'd love to have back in Seattle and at the same time is most realistic to return to Seattle.
Jordan Brooks, man. Well, I definitely recommend Over the Cap tool. It's one of my personal favorites. And so I mess with that thing all the time, restructuring as many contracts as possible so I can get my hopes up. So, we shall see. All right, switching over to Jesse. Okay, the San Francisco 49ers, some notable names here. You have Chase Young, you have Kinlaw, Sam Darnold. Oh, man. Out of anybody, same thing with Randy Gregory as well. Some names that are coming up. You have crazy John Feliciano. Oh, man, that's terrible.
Crazy John.
Out of anybody that I just listed or amongst the other names, there's 21 pending free agents right now. It's quite a bit. Who are you hoping to see that the Niners bring back?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it to unrestricted guys just because the restricted guys will likely be back. So I will say a lot of people want Chase Young back. He's young. He's super talented. I wasn't a fan of Chase Young. I feel like the effort wasn't there the whole time that he was here. And a lot of people started to notice it. It became a big deal after the NFC Championship, but that showed up on film every week outside of the first week he was actually here. So if you're going to perform that way in a year that you're trying to get paid on a team that's making a Super Bowl run, what more incentives do you need to perform at a high level? So I'm good with letting Chase Young walk. I actually would bring back Randy Gregory. He's going to be cheaper. I think he's just as effective, if not more effective. He adds a lot of depth. He can rush if Bosa's out of the game. Whoever we bring in, actually, I know we're going to talk free agency. I've got a free agent that I want them to bring in as well. So for me, I want to keep the defensive line rotation strong. The 49ers have consistently lost depth pieces year after year on that defensive line. He's one that I would like to keep, and I think it's realistic to do so. So give me Randy Gregory.
Interesting. All right, Jake. So I'm looking at the Rams right now. Witherspoon is certainly a huge name. Dotson is a name. Have about 17 pending free agents, 2 of which are restricted. No, 4 of which are restricted, excuse me. Out of any name that you would like to see come back to LA for the 2024 season, who are you targeting?
Well, it would be between Dotson and Witherspoon. So you nailed it. I mean, Demarcus Robinson, he was huge. He was like Odell in 2021 for the Rams. I have to mention how important he was at the end of the season. But was he needed? That's the thing. He just kind of supplanted Tutu Atwell in kind of a bizarre fashion. And I can only say this happened because of just his overall body composition. I think, with Tutu Atwell, you're getting a 5'9", 165 pound, essentially me. You're getting him at wide receiver. And so with, Demarcus Robinson, you're getting a 6'2", 200 pound guy, outstanding blocker. Whoever signs him is going to get a hell of a player. I think the Rams could still sign him, but I think as far as the most important, I mean, Ahkello Witherspoon gets knocked a lot by this fan base. And what I will say is that watching Ahkello, I've been a fan of his from afar. I liked him his last year with the 49ers. I thought he played a lot better than given credit for. It's why Richard Sherman has come out, his former teammate, and has defended him at every turn because he knows he was, he didn't get the treatment necessarily at the end of the road that he probably should have gotten. And then you get to Seattle, and then Seattle trades him away. Thinking that somehow Trey Flowers was better. It took 4 years for him to get as good as Ahkello Witherspoon was, probably year one, but nice job trading him away there. He goes to Pittsburgh, and, he has a decent career with Pittsburgh. I actually really liked what I saw out of him in Pittsburgh. He suffers an injury. Then they decide to not bring him back the following year, and they let him go in the offseason. The Rams had no money whatsoever, so they go out, they sign him. And guess what? He had to replace Jalen Ramsey of all corners. I thought he did a damn good job of it. Was targeted 98 times, only gave up 48 completions. I mean, I think that's pretty damn good. It's one of the best in the league, as a matter of fact. So, look, I think if you put somebody next to him, he is going to absolutely blow up. And I think the big issue for him is that he wanted to be that ball hawk because we know he can. Go back to the incredible interception he had while covering T. Higgins in week 3. It'll show that for you. However, he had Darion Kendrick on the other side, committing 14 penalties this year. He had to be essentially the safety at corner. He couldn't take those gambles. He couldn't take those chances. And so because of that, he was valuable. But then you have the other guy from Pittsburgh who the Rams traded for in Kevin Dotson, who I got to be honest with you. I think this is the most important one. And obviously Witherspoon would be, right there. But the issue with Kevin Dotson is this: if you do not, tag or bring back Kevin Dotson, and you go out and you sign a Danielle Hunter, for instance, or just any, top level free agent, you're not getting Kevin Dotson's compensatory pick back. That is going to be canceled out by your, high, signing or whatever. So that's an issue. And when you think about the Rams are very compensatory pick oriented, a lot of what they've been able to do has been based on the formula and playing the formula. And they will have a third rounder this year because of, the loss of Raheem Morris, but still not having a third rounder next year and losing a guy like Kevin Dotson, you have to replace that. And ironically enough, his teammate is in the offseason. He's in free agency. His former teammate at Louisiana Lafayette, Robert Hunt, who's, he's with the Dolphins, had a great year before he got hurt. I think he'd make sense. I think he'd make sense next to Dotson, reuniting in LA. But I don't see how. It's not even how much they gave up, because Dan, as well as I do, the Rams gave up a second and third for Von Miller, and they let him walk right out the door. And you know what? I was all for that, because Von Miller win the Super Bowl. Great. I wanted Hassan Reddick. They ruined their entire offseason waiting for Von Miller to make a decision. And I never felt like he was coming back anyway. The point is, even though you gave up a second and a third, it's okay to let him go in that sense. You won the Super Bowl. But giving up, a fourth or fifth, it's not even the picks for Dotson. It's not even the compensatory picks. You had arguably the best right guard in football last year. And something clicked with him. There was some sort of, it just worked. And trust me, my DMs blew up. Steelers fans are like, why is Dotson good? Why did we trade him? Where did this come from? And I'm like, watch the tape. It's the same player. It's a different blocking scheme. It's why they traded him. He's more comfortable with the Rams. Rams moved to more gap instead of zone. And we saw just instantaneously, this guy, when he was inserted in the lineup in week 4, the run game was better. The pass game was better. He's just gotten better. So I don't think you can let a guy like Dotson leave. I just don't think you can do that.
Interesting. All right, guys. Well, we were talking about some of your unrestricted free agents that are about to hit the market, but I know as NFL fans, we are salivating over some of the names that are available, especially once the new league ends up starting. Mike, tell me some names that you are absolutely hoping somehow the Arizona Cardinals could convince to sign.
Well, this is going to be interesting because the Cardinals have, I believe, 10 highest in cap space in the entirety of the NFL. I think we have like $42-43 million to
quite
spend
a
in
bit.
free agency, something around there. Yeah, but I know we can open up some more room. A couple people to look at, maybe DJ Humphries, maybe restructuring some of these deals that we have. But like, we have so many holes. It's crazy. Like looking at this list, the Cardinals can benefit from having like anybody. But if we were to really focusing on like a specific, I guess, side, I would love the Cardinals to focus on the defensive side of the ball, either edge or cornerback. But right now, if you're going to give me one option, I would say I would love the Cardinals to go after Jalen Johnson from the Chicago Bears cornerback, just because, man, we need help everywhere. Right now we're rocking with Garrett Williams, third round pick, which I think he did pretty decent. I think he held his own. But we got a Antonio Hamilton, which most likely won't be back. Just kind of a journeyman for the Arizona Cardinals. And other than that, Keitrell Clark, another rookie. You got a lot of young, talented, I guess promising talent. But we don't have any solidified guys there. So if we were going to want to go after somebody, I would love the Cardinals to go cornerback, and I would go after Jalen Johnson from the Chicago Bears cornerback.
I feel like so many people want that guy, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So many people want Jalen Johnson. Dude's an absolute dog.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey, Seattle. What are you looking for, man?
Well, first, we need to look for cap space. That's the number one thing. Like I outlined earlier, that's the number one thing.
Steals in free agency. That's one of my favorite topics, man.
Right.
Some good old quality steals. Talk to us.
So if we're going bargain bin shopping for the Seahawks, there's a couple of players that I have in mind. And I talked about Justin Madubuike and Patrick Queen because obviously with Mike McDonald now the new head coach in Seattle, you want to reunite him with some of his guys in Baltimore. Unfortunately for Seattle and for Seahawks fans, those guys, like I said earlier, aren't realistic. But then again, we've seen stranger things happen. But I'm not going to talk about those guys. I'm going to talk about some guys that you can get for less than market value. I feel like in free agency, and or perhaps a reunion in Seattle might work out for Jadeveon Clowney. He spent 2019 in Seattle, led the team in pressures, is still one of the best run defenders in all of football, tied a career high in sacks with 9.5 last year after nobody wanted him. He literally waited until I think after training camp started to sign with the Baltimore Ravens, and he just looked like a perfect fit for Mike McDonald and what they want to do over there in Baltimore. Now, if Seattle feels like they have enough at pass rusher, because Uchenna Nwosu is coming back, Dale Taylor is a pending free agent, Boye Mafe looks like a future superstar, and Seattle does have the 16th pick, and so there's a plethora of ways, different directions that they can go in at 16. If not Jadeveon Clowney, then what about Kevin Zeitler? I think guard, interior offensive lineman is yet another need for the Seattle Seahawks. And while Mike McDonald didn't coach him up because he played on offense, and Mike McDonald obviously was a defensive coordinator, I do think that the familiarity there will be very beneficial to the Seattle Seahawks, especially when you consider the fact that both of Seattle's starters at guard are both free agents, Damian Lewis and Phil Haynes. And yeah, I'd like Seattle to address interior offensive line in the draft, but I think having a guy like a Kevin Zeitler, who's been an above average starter, who's been a Pro Bowler in this league, I think that would help tremendously. And so if not Jadeveon Clowney, then give me Kevin Zeitler from the Baltimore Ravens.
Interesting. Love to hear it. We have Brother Bob coming back in. Screw Chill Young, Sam Ghostman Darnold, and Kinlaw. Okay, he's probably still still upset with Kinlaw, but a celebration.
I forgot about that. He was seeing ghosts. My God.
Sam Darnold, man. Yet another young quarterback ruined by Bill Belichick. All right. Brother Bob, I liked Jake, a closet Niners fan. But Witherspoon?
Past tense, man. Jeez. I liked him.
Oh, man.
All right,
He was a nice guy.
It's okay, Jesse. Talk to us, man. Some free agents that are about to hit the market that you would love to see with the Niners.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 49ers definitely have some needs. You know, a team coming off of a chance to win a Super Bowl, and they're going to look to try to avoid the Super Bowl hangover. They certainly could use a rework of the right side of the offensive line. As I talked, pass rusher, believe it or not, as many of the assets that the 49ers have put into the defensive line, they could use another pass rusher opposite of Bosa. Another corner they could also use, and hell, they might even need a linebacker depending on how long Greenlaw is going to be out tearing his Achilles in the final game of the season. So it's going to be a long recovery for him as well. But I'm going to stick with the edge position, and this is a guy that the 49ers have really looked at year after year. The last 2 years, the rumor was he was coming here during the trade deadline. It just never happened. Well, now he's a free agent. And I know that he'll probably get decent money, but also it's probably a 1 to 2 year deal for him. I believe that. And I think that allows the 49ers to stay flexible, yet be very competitive this year, which is what they're looking to do while they have Brock Purdy under that rookie contract. That is one Daniil Hunter. I would love to get him in a 49er uniform.
Whoa.
Daniil Hunter. So, okay. So you're done with Chase
And believe it
Young.
or not, the 49ers also, I am, yes. But also the 49ers do have cap space, believe it or not. They've got about $37 million that they're going to roll over from last year. They have 4 or 5 guys they could easily push back contracts on and free up another 40, 50 million. So it depends on how all in they really want to go. But yeah, Daniil Hunter, I think, is actually a real possibility if they want to make it happen.
Wait, can I ask you a question, Jesse?
Yeah.
If you guys end up splurging, I know you mentioned it's, hypothetically speaking, right? It'll only be like a 1 or 2 year deal, but obviously he's going to command a lot of money. Do you think that means that Brandon Ayuk is on the way out?
Oh, yeah.
No.
That is a good question about
Very
that.
good question.
No, they can afford them. They really can afford them all. The 49ers are not in cap hell the way that a lot of people believe that they are. Brandon Ayuk is affordable. And we also have to remember that Brandon Ayuk, if you rework the deal, you're going to save money this year. Now, I will say Brandon Ayuk is the easiest, most tradable asset they have because there is no dead cap money when you get rid of the 5th-year option. And he's only 26 coming off of a second team all-pro year. So very tradable. I hope they don't trade BA. I really don't think he's on his way out, but if they do, I mean, he is a very tradable asset.
Interesting. All right, we got Rams. Let's go. Dotson 100. All right, he's a bit behind in the stream, but is happy about the Dotson pick. Sincerely appreciate that, Rams. Let's go. All right, so Jake, sounds like your fan was very happy about the Dotson situation, but what about some pending free agents that you have been targeting that you would love to see the Rams take up?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks is that the Rams have cap again, sure. But a lot of these guys, if we're being realistic, because obviously the best option out there for the Rams is Josh Allen of the Jaguars, not your Josh Allen. You're like, hey, hold on a second. Josh Allen of the Jaguars. There's not a better option. 25 years old, can drop into coverage. The Rams drop their outside linebackers into coverage probably more than anybody in the league, and I don't know why, but they do. I don't know if that will continue without Raheem Morris, but they did last year with 310, 6'4" Michael Hoyt. So be better to have a guy that's actually, built for that. So Josh Allen would be the perfect fit. But we know Jacksonville is going to tag him. They're not tagging Calvin Ridley. They have no one else to really tag at that point. So he'll come back. He might not stay. They might trade him. And we've seen the Rams go that route before. But I don't get a sense from this Rams team that they are going to move that first round pick. They might trade up. They might trade down. But I don't see them trading it straight up for a player. Just based on the things I've heard, I just don't really think we knew back when they traded for Brandon Cooks, they were this close to going after Odell Beckham Jr. and pulling the trigger. And they decided to settle on Brandon Cooks. Didn't cost as much. I'm not getting that same vibe. So with that said, doesn't mean that they couldn't trade for, a sign and trade, a tag and trade, whatever, for a Brian Burns, who's going to be tagged. Hate to break it to you guys. He's going to be tagged. We already know that. Doesn't mean they couldn't do something crazy. Pointing this out, Sean McVay has done some wild things, Les Snead as well, to shake up the offense every year. They traded for Sammy Watkins, as Dan knows, early on. They traded for Brandon Cooks, right? They signed Odell. They signed Demarcus Robinson, not as wacky. They signed Allen Robinson, very unlike what they do, very wacky. They traded away Robert Woods. They signed Deshaun Jackson. What if they signed, he was tagged because he's going to get tagged. What if the Bengals tag T. Higgins and they trade for him? I wouldn't be surprised if they did something wacky like that. But I don't think they should. I think it should be Daniil Hunter. I think The Rams and 49ers might be throwing fists at each other for this guy. It wouldn't be the first time. They both threw fists at each other over McCaffrey. They both were interested in Brian Burns back when he wasn't available, but everyone kind of thought he was. It's nothing new. They've definitely gone after each other. The 49ers wanted Stafford, as Jesse had explained that story in the past on one of the shows. And the Rams, jumped out. These two teams hate each other, but the head coaches are buddy. So I wouldn't be surprised if these two are going at each other's throats for Danielle Hunter. And now here's the thing. Covering the Jets for a year, I grew to absolutely love Bryce Huff. I think he is fun as hell, but that's kind of just what he is. He is not a guy that I can put on the field all 3 downs and trust him to stop the run, set the edge, be confident in doing so. He is a situational pass rusher, and I don't mean it in a way like how we use the negative connotation of like, oh, he's just a game manager. He's a I would say top tier situational pass rusher, but I can't trust him down in, down out basis. Can't trust him in the run game. So I don't think the Rams are going to trust him in the run game. I don't think the Rams are going to offer him a lot of money. Danielle Hunter feels like a 2 to 3 year deal that you bring in. You say, hey, look, we got Aaron Donald. He's going to be around for 2 to 3 more years. Okay, he might retire after this year. Who knows? Do you want to come along for the ride? Because we're ahead of schedule. Like, a lot of people didn't have us here, and we're ready to go and win the Super Bowl this year. So do you want to come over here, play with Aaron Donald, play with the guy who should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year in Kobe Turner, play with Byron Young? Do you want to be a part of this? And to me, like, as well as the fact that the former Rams offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell, who was the head coach for the Vikings when Danielle Hunter was there, I think there's a little bit of a connection. And I think, Sean McVay and Les Snead might want to get this thing done. I think everyone knows. I mean, we could get into all we want about how the Rams lost that last game, but the reality is if they had traded for a pass rusher at the deadline, I think they could have won the Super Bowl. They were really that close. Despite all of their faults, everyone would admit Byron Young had a really good year, but they were really missing that one key edge defender. And they let Leonard Floyd go, who went to Buffalo. They didn't bring back Von Miller 2 years ago, and it hurt them. So now I think they realized that. They went through a year of kind of trial and error. They had never done anything like they did this past year, being that much of a bargain bin hunt instead of going out and getting big names. Now they learned, okay, we can do this and we could do this and we could stretch this, but we do need that edge defender. And I think in a perfect world, if Josh Allen is available, he is a Ram. But I don't think he's going to be available. I do think they'd have interest trading for him, but that conversation starts, I think, at least 2 first-round picks. He's an outstanding talent. So I honestly kind of think the Rams are going to end up with Danielle Hunter. I kind of believe that because I think that they've just kind of sat back. They watched everyone spend their money last offseason. The 49ers went out and got Hargrave. They were active at the deadline. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams, throw a big punch to start free agency and they go after Danielle Hunter.
Looks like we have 2 teams in the NFC West fighting for Hunter.
Fighting. If you didn't take anything away from all that.
Is almost here. All right. We have A2B coming in saying, breaking the Rams trade for Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen.
Gosh.
All
right. What would you do theoretically if that just broke? Like Matthew Stafford to the Bills, Josh Allen to the Rams.
You better give me Sean McVay. Yeah. You better give me McVay and take McDermott too. I think that would be that. And
I'd be worried for your health, man.
And so we better win a damn Super Bowl like that year. Because, how many more years does he have, right?
I'd be worried for your health.
Because man. Dude, I'd probably.
I love Stafford, but like Josh Allen is still young. You would die right on this live. You'd lose it. Most definitely. I probably have an aneurysm right on here. This means the Niners getting Hunter and Aziz, Super Bowl, baby, and
rate to lose again because Kyle Levy will choke and not adapt as usual, but blame the defensive coordinator.
Is he saying Al-Shaair? Is that who he's talking about?
Yeah.
You think he comes back?
A lot of people are talking about it just because he was there at the NFC. I think it was the NFC Championship game. Might have been the divisional. He was in the linebackers breaking down the chant at the game. He's obviously still a big part of this team. And so we'll see.
Oh my God. And so how does Buffalo feel about Von Miller?
Con Miller.
Now.
Ruthless in comments.
Man, don't talk to me about Von Miller. All right, anyway. All right, guys, listen, we have absolutely hammered free agency, but now we need to do what everybody on YouTube has been doing since free agency. I'm sure that each and every single one of you have done at least 30 of these, and that's on the modest side. However, what I have done is I have selected all 4 of the teams representing in the NFC West. This is entirely up to you. I have it on slow mode. All right, so if anybody's feeling frisky, if they want to trade up, if they want to trade down, you let me know. But as you know, we have the Arizona Cardinals with 2 picks in the first round.
Yes,
Seattle is
sir.
sitting at 16. The LA Rams are sitting at 19. And then, of course, you have the San Francisco 49ers sitting at 31. All right. So we have the draft right now. Say, for example,
32.
And so you just want to ride. With your standard pick. Or say, for example, you want to trade up. Let me know. I'll pause it. But without further ado, the very first Roundtable Sports mock draft begins. And now, let's go. And that's what I'm saying. You have Caleb Williams going 1 overall.
Yep.
I think that's pretty much a shoo-in.
Don't
Drake May.
Here we go. I was
Oh
just gonna say,
my
don't
God,
screw
he
me,
got the
Patriots.
perfect. He got the
It's
perfect.
Neighbors.
weird.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
So should I even ask?
I don't think you
Is it who
should.
you're gonna pick?
Just give me the generation talent. Give me Marvin Harrison Jr.
All right. Now tell me, what does a pick like Marvin Harrison Jr. mean for the Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, it means excitement overall for 2024. I think we haven't had a wide receiver like Larry Fitzgerald since Larry Fitzgerald. Obviously we've had Anquan, we've had some people here and there, but like we've been longing for a generational talent like Marvin Harrison Jr. I think we're all Cardinal fans are salivating at the thought of it. Now I think we're all kind of a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not worried about Chicago. There's still a little worried about Chicago, but now there's the thought of what is the Patriots going to do? To me, I think they're going to go quarterback, but there has also been kind of a rumor out there saying that they might trade back. We don't know, but Marvin Harrison Jr. would mean so much to this fan base. And honestly, I think that would be the spark to just get us excited again for 2024, truly.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
What if he's not there? Would you go with Neighbors or would you go somewhere else?
That's a good question. I think with Monty Ossenfort, I think they would trade back. I think they would trade back to trade back up. Just something similar that we did in this last draft where we traded out of the top 10, but we traded back up to get our guy in Paris Johnson Jr. I think to Monty, the trenches are very, very important, whether the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. And I think we could agree we definitely need help on either side. I could see the Cardinals trading back. I don't know if they would go Neighbors. I wouldn't mind it. If we get them, I think that would be really cool. But the Cardinals can trade back up, or like, I don't know. Like we could do so many different options. Like, I don't know. I can see everything.
Marvin Harrison Jr. going 4th overall to the Arizona Cardinals. All right, the draft is on. And for with any of you that are like, you know what? I kind of want to trade up. Let me know, and I'll hit this pause right over there. We have Joe Alt gone. Brock Bowers is going over to the Tennessee Titans. They just want to ignore their offensive line. That's interesting. Romo Dunze, Byron Murphy, Arnold is going to the Jets. Fashanu, tackle, Vikings. Love Quinyon Mitchell.
For everyone that acts like he's going to fall in the second round, I hope you all just watched him go at 12.
Dude, I love Quinyon Mitchell, man.
I'm with you.
Ooh, 16th overall here.
Seattle Seahawks.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe he is still on the board.
With PFF, looks like guard, center, and edge. seem to be what they believe are your largest needs. You have a pretty solid tackle out of Oregon State, Dallas Turner, edge rusher. Another edge rusher out of UCLA, Latu. Have J.C. Latham, Jerzon Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry, have
Jaden Daniels is not falling this fall. I would draft him at 19.
Dude, man, listen, I've been seeing J.J. McCarthy drafted, and so ahead of him in some.
I would not do that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Myself, but
man, there's a bounty of options here. I did not anticipate this board looking this clean. Honestly, I'd prefer to trade down and accumulate more picks.
Oh, whoa, okay.
You want to trade down? All right, man.
But I think Jake just said something. He said that if Jaden Daniels is there at 19, he's going to take him, and I don't want that to happen. I think if Seattle ends up keeping a Geno Smith, I think Jaden Daniels will be perfect sitting behind Geno for a year. I know Mark earlier mentioned New England and how they could be the wild card of teams at 3 overall. I had a live stream on my show or on YouTube last week, and I talked about how the Patriots, I think, are the top contender for Geno Smith's services if they end up wanting to trade for a veteran quarterback, just because you're not going to get a lot in free agency. Now, I'm not saying Seattle should trade Geno. I just think it's a possibility. But that aside, I got to go at Jaden Daniels. I mean, I wanted to go either Troy Fautanu or a Dallas Turner, but the value is just too much to pass up on. I mean, I think he could be a bona fide franchise quarterback. And so, and like I said earlier, I wouldn't want Jake and the Rams to get their quarterback of the future. So, yeah, come to Seattle, baby. Give me a LSU quarterback, Jaden Daniels, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner.
I'll take Jalen Daniels out of Kansas in 2025.
So to let you know, so the Philadelphia Eagles, and so the Eagles are willing to give you, so they're 22nd, right? And then you could probably take, no, they're not liking that. Okay, you'd probably be able to get, 97 overall.
Is that Kool-Aid kid?
throw in the 160th, 170. Oh man, look at that, dude. They're just
all of them.
They just want them all. All right. Anyway, all right. I was trying to help you guys out. I was trying to help out Jake here. But Jaden Daniels,
we good.
Backup quarterback, right to Geno Smith in Seattle. That would be shocking.
It's crazy.
That'd be lovely.
That would be shocking. Have the Jaguars on the clock. They go Dallas.
No chance. Oh, are you kidding me?
Fuaga is going over to Cincinnati.
Oh, I mean, come on. You had freaking Anthony Munoz. Now you have to go and get Fuaga at freaking 18. If the Rams didn't trade up for Fuaga, I would lose my mind. I mean, I think he's the best tackle in the draft. I believe that. He reminds me of Ogden, man. He reminds me of Jonathan Ogden. He's not falling this far. He'll go in the top 5 potentially. I mean, he is that good. So this is the best available. Latu's the top. Okay. Oh man, they kind of have their pick of the litter because you could get a Jerzon Newton for post Aaron Donald, have a great tandem with him and Kobe Turner. You got J.C. Latham, who I understand he's playing right tackle, but I mean, I'm sure he could. The problem is, and this is a good thing. This is a great draft, by the way, for the 49ers, because a lot of these tackles play right. So a lot of these guys are going to either be stuck at right tackle, or you're just going to have to say, screw it and hope the talent translates at left, because there's a lot of right tackles in the draft where there's a lot of teams that need a left tackle. Latu, I really like. Injury concerns are a little worrisome. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Who's below that? Oh my God, I'd lose my mind if they drafted a receiver that high.
And so a lot of receivers. So Brian Thomas Jr., Troy Franklin, Ladd McConkey.
Oh man, Amarius Mims. He's got that crazy potential. Only started 8 games at Georgia. Fautanu, I don't have a first round grade on. Mims, I don't even, but I could understand Mims. I think definitely get JJ McCarthy out of here. Let's go to the top. So I'm really at this point to kind of, explain my rationale here. If the Rams were successful in getting Danielle Hunter or insert any really good edge in free agency here, then Latu I don't think is in play. I I think Kool-Aid McKinstry certainly in play. I think Newton is a best player available move that I could see the Rams doing. I'm really between right now. This is tough.
It is.
Man, Jesse, good luck. Let's see.
It'll be easy. Just show me all the tackles available.
Nice.
there you
Just
go.
want to take the best
a lot.
tackle off the board.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really like Latham, but he's more, again, you're talking about the right tackle moving to left. And now in this sense, since it's based on right now, right, Dan? It's not based on what we just did in free agency. So since it's based on right now, I think I would take Latu out of UCLA. I think it's something the Rams would do as well. You know, he stays home, but he's potentially the best pass rusher, in this draft. And the injury concerns do bother me, but you're at pick 19, not number 1 overall. So, I'll go with Latu here.
Latu, man, coming on to the LA Rams. I'm not going to lie to you. That was definitely a curveball. I thought for sure that you were about to go with Kool-Aid. Or
just for the name.
Yeah. Well,
man.
that too, yeah.
Real quick, Steezy, while we wait for my pick here, if Jada does fall out of the top 10, which I don't see happening, but would you guys trade up? Would you think the Seattle Seahawks would trade up?
Nah,
Yeah.
I just think that with the lack of like I said, cap space, and then Seattle also doesn't have a second round pick because of that trade for Leonard Williams, and so I think Seattle would be more inclined to trade down and accumulate more as opposed to trading up, unless they're absolutely enamored with the Jane Daniels or if a quarterback were to fall.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Here we go. All right. 27th overall. Let's see who is here.
Options.
Yeah.
Options, man.
Man, look at those tackles go off the board. That's what we want to see.
Yup. Go down just a little bit more.
Not
okay.
really, though.
Nah, not that far. Go back up.
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, right.
Take JJ, man.
Oh man, I think the obvious choice here is a tackle for the Cardinals because DJ Humphries is hurt. And we don't know what is going to happen with DJ. And then it's a big injury too. Is he going to start? Is he not going to start? We got a stud in Paris Johnson Jr. I want the Cardinals to move him to left and then focus on the right. But we'll have to kind of wait and see how that shakes out. But I do think tackle, especially how this board fell the way that it is, give me as a Troy Fatanu out of Washington. Give me that guy.
Troy Fatanu. What's the scouting report on this guy, Jake? Solid.
So, yeah, Fatanu, I could see teams will want to move him to guard. He has got some crazy ass feet, man. He's got some crazy feet. Can, really adapt well. Not going to get beat by one particular archetype of pass rusher. So, I mean, I like him at either tackle spot, but I'm also one of those people, like when I'm scouting, tackles, I am literally anti-moving tackle to guard just to move a tackle to guard. Like, you have to really give me an explanation as to why you're doing that. So, yeah, I think he can last in the NFL as a tackle. And I think he's a really good player, and he's been battle tested playing at Washington. You look at the Texas tape, and, of course, you look at the national title game against Michigan. And, I mean, I thought he was pretty good in both games. I mean, yeah, okay, he has his moments, but I think all these guys do. You'll want to see him be better in the run game, I think. That's one thing. But a lot of the top guys you're going to notice, which is kind of new, a lot of the top tackles are really good in pass pro and they struggle in the run game, which is just not something we normally see out of a class.
Interesting. Troy Fatanu, welcome to the Arizona Cardinals. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. and a brand new tackle. And they give the Buffalo
Oh, Troy Franklin. I love that pick.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Devontae Smith. He needs to put on some weight, but I like him too.
Tyler Nubin is such a Ravens pick.
Yeah, it really is. Another safety, though? My gosh.
Yeah, well, it's
down on
they're going to
what's
lose Geno Stone. He's either going to go with
but
one
he's
of the
their
coaches
third guy. He's their third guy, though.
They need a third guy, though.
Yeah, they need a third guy. Why not? Show me what all tackles are available.
That
Is
is
Jordan Morgan available?
It's all right, Jesse. Right now we have Graham Barton. That is the best player
he
available.
is
and he's
not
a
at
tackle.
all intrigued.
No.
We got JJ. We got JJ
No,
McCarthy.
no.
Dude, no one wants JJ
No.
McCarthy, man.
No.
Oh man.
Keeps some Bo Nix action.
Bo Nick.
Definitely don't want Bo Nix.
Some Bo Nix action. Why is Keon Coleman still there? What?
Crazy.
Yeah, he's super good.
He's
Assuming
going
that BA is still here, I wouldn't go Keon. I would probably go Jordan Morgan. I would probably try to trade back a couple spots and go Jordan Morgan, but to me, out of the tackles available, he's the only pure, like, true tackle. Again, really good in pass, as far as being a pass blocker, not a great run blocker, but he's also very seasoned. He tore his ACL, 2 years ago, probably could have come out then. And I just feel like he's not a guy that you're going to have to move inside. I feel like he could play either tackle spot, start out at right tackle, and maybe be your future left. So I would go with Morgan.
I like the rationale.
Welcome to the San Francisco 49ers. Let's see what this draft grade is going.
They didn't give you a grade.
Oof.
It doesn't give you a grade when you do the entire thing, apparently. But look at that, guys. All right. The very first West mock draft. And don't worry, guys. We're going to be doing several of these. It is the off season. Once free agency is over with, we'll certainly understand quite a bit more. But, oh, man, definitely very, very exciting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to have to do it for yet another edition of the NFC West Roundtable. I want to go around the table. We can go ahead and see what all of our hosts are going to be up to. I want to remind everybody that now we are going every other week. We will be releasing some pre-recorded content next week, but now we are going every other week. So do make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a live episode. Mike, what's going on with you for these next 2 weeks over on the channel?
I sound like a broken record, man.
Same thing, baby. Mock draft.
Right, mock
We're gonna have
draft.
So you're gonna see
mock draft
Marvin
edition
Harrison Jr.
700.
Neighbors to my team 5 times a day. For the
Right,
next 3
mock
months.
draft 700.0 coming out pretty soon, man. Yeah, it's what it is here for the Cardinals, man. It's just I'm hoping we're gonna get some news here from Buddha, because I know people are kind of piranhas that are going around and nobody's asking about Buddha Baker. I hope we start actually addressing that, because I'm pretty concerned. I'm not gonna lie to you. Him playing on a non-guaranteed deal is very worrisome. So mock drafts. Yep.
What about you, Steezy? What's going on, man?
Yeah, like I talked about at the top of the show, I mean, there's so much to talk about as far as the coaching hires. And so I want to talk about Ryan Grubb and what his arrival means for the Seattle Seahawks offense moving forward, and what it also means as it pertains to their draft strategy and whatnot. And so I will be going live on my channel, Ask Steezy A. Smith, tomorrow evening around 6 p.m. Pacific time. So for all my Seahawks fans out there, be sure to tune in. But before you do that, be sure to hit that subscribe button for the NFC West Roundtable channel so you don't miss a future show.
Beautiful. So what about you, Jesse? What's going on?
Yeah, actually, I'll be live in 15 minutes over on my channel, Last Second Sports. You can check me out there. And yeah, we're easing into the off-season content. We're not quite at mock drafts or anything like that quite yet, but we are talking some philosophical differences that some fans may have with Kyle Shanahan and his roster building. We talk about offensive linemen. I am going tackle at that 31st overall pick. Kyle Shanahan might do something absolutely crazy and not draft an offensive lineman at all in this draft because they don't think they're important for some reason. So we're going to talk about that plus some other things. You can tune in at Last Second Sports in about 15 minutes.
Oh, God. So what about you, Jake?
Yeah, well, next week, if you don't have anything to do and you're a Rams fan or you just want to have any sort of Rams content, next Tuesday at, I believe, 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be on Bleacher Report discussing draft targets for the Rams. But in the meantime, I'm just going to be doing these draft profiles that people like, turning them into shorts. That's more Dan's thing. Dan is very good at the short form content. I'm very bad at it. But I'm trying. So we will have short form content of each video. But right now, I'm going through the tackles. I've put out a video on Fatanu, Amarius Mims, the latest, Dominic Pooney. There's some other ones they're totally escaping my mind right now. But Patrick Paul is another one. Kingsley Suamataia. There, I got them both. But yeah, I've just been doing those, just draft prospect. It's just really, I go through my grading and from a Rams perspective to keep it, Rams oriented. At the end, I tell you if they make any sense for the Rams, but pretty much anyone, it is kind of a one size fits all for the majority of those videos where anybody can check it out. If you want to know anything about the prospect, I put in some film. That is until Exos copyright strikes me for it. But I have some film clips there. And just having fun doing that. Somewhat fun, as much fun as you could have watching offensive linemen if you're not Brandon Thorne. But, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
Oh, man. Guys, I always like stressing this. Make sure that you subscribe to each and every single one of these dudes. They do a wonderful job covering their team, draft content, free agency, you name it. And above all else, we thank you so much for all of your generosity when it comes into super chats, when it comes into you continuously watching us. Thank you so much for everything. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Later.
Go Cards.